was having a discussion with a team of maintenance professionals. It was a question and answer session, so I was trying to help them understand their system, their machines better. And a question came from the plant director himself. He asked, what if the people don't know how to maintain the equipment? That struck me. So because of that, I decided to do this video to explain something. How to know your equipment and to be able to maintain your equipment. So I've realized that equipment as a whole is complex. But once you break it down into sessions, it becomes simpler. So the deeper you go, the simpler it becomes. In other words, you should not even have PMs targeted to the equipment. No, because equipment is a complex combination of components. As a maintenance person, the planner, for example, you have a very big job. In fact, this is one of the most important positions in maintenance engineering, the planner. As a planner, you are supposed to break this equipment down into hierarchy. So the equipment, you need to break it down into from the equipment to assembly, to sub-assembly, even to sub-assembly, down to the component. If you're able to break your equipment down up to the component, you see that the complex equipment has become simplified. Basically, your equipment is a combination of components and controls. Combination of components and controls. What you need to do is to be able to break this down. Mind you, once you've done this is actually a big job. But once you've done this, then you can define maintenance at component level. You can define maintenance at component level. Now people will be wondering, in a machine, there are hundreds of components. So do you want us to list all the components? Well, it's not that easy. But the OEM has given you something. In the maintenance manual, there's what we call the spare parts list. The spare parts list. In this spare part list, you also have the machine drawing. For those of us that studied engineering, the penultimate year, we spent a lot of time in assembly drawing, sectioning, and all that. This is where it becomes very important. What this machine drawing is telling you is how the different components come together to form assembly. So the machine drawing explains from bottom top how the components combine to form assembly, sub-assembly. How the sub-assembly combine to give you sub-assembly. How the assemblies combine to give you the component. You get. So what you need to understand is how to break the equipment down. Now, in real life, how are you going to do it? It's very simple. You look at the flow of material into your equipment. When the material comes, what does it make interaction? What does it have contact with? It comes on a conveyor belt, right? Now, the conveyor belt, the belt itself is a component. There is something driving the belt, which is like an electric motor. The electric motor is a component. For the electric motor to drive the belt, you need to have like a sprocket. Then the sprocket is a component. For the sprocket to balance, you're supposed to have a shaft. So meaning you're going to have like two sprockets and a shaft. You get it? That is just for this belt to work. So when you are defining your PM, you have to define PM for the sprocket, for the shaft, for the electric motor, for the belt, not for the equipment as a whole. If you do for the equipment as a whole, then you are breaking the rule that I mentioned earlier. Your PM is supposed to target failure modes. Failure mode. And I already defined to you that failure mode refers to components and how they can fail. You get it, right? So if you want to learn how to maintain a machine, the first thing to do is to break the machine down into subsection, into hierarchy. Then from then, you can define maintenance for each component. By the way, you are not going to define for all the components. It's going to be based on criticality. Because there's what we call maintenance significant item. So these are the parts of the machine that require maintenance. Not all parts of the machine require maintenance. For example, we actually do this without knowing. If you use CMMS, there's what we call BOM, which is your bill of material. Bill of material. So the planners, they usually create this BOM so that they can easily replenish these parts. So what it means is that these parts are prone to failure. So you are expected to have maintenance plan and task list for your BOM list. So this your BOM list should come from breaking the machine down into components. This your BOM list come from breaking this machine down into components. And what is going to help you to do that is your spare part list and your machine drawing, which are your OEM manual. If you are relying on the OEM manual for your maintenance, I'm sorry to tell you, you'll be disappointed because the maintenance, the task list in the OEM manual are going to be generic. So it's left to you as a planner, as an engineer, to go deeper and see, oh, this machine has bearing, and this is how to maintain a bearing. This machine has roller. This is how to maintain roller. Once you do this, I guarantee you, your PM is going to start giving you results. If we are not so, I would have told you.